From a mystery romance, a tongue-in-cheek parody, a psychological thriller, to a coming-of-age story on friendship and loyalty, there's a lot going on this week in movies. That's why Rad is here to help us decide what to watch.
Yeah,
How about
there
that?
is a lot, and this is happening all month. There's just way too many movies packing into theaters, and we gotta kind of siphon through them all.
And that's why it's so great that you're here, because you get to do that for us. So let's start with Armageddon Time.
Yeah, Armageddon Time is it's it's kind of a classically artfully made melodrama made by director James Gray. James Gray, I'm a huge admirer of him. He's one of many filmmakers this year that's making autobiographical films. This is a film about that's based on his own childhood growing up. And this is a movie where he's processing his own privilege and white guilt. Because it's about his childhood, it's about all the stuff he got away with. Meanwhile, his black friend has to face all sorts of anti-black racism from the school teachers, from the system, all around, right? So this is a movie that's having a conversation about like, hey, like this is a Jewish kid. You know, like this is a kid whose family has to deal with anti-Semitism and stuff, but they too can be, you know, contributing to anti-black racism. So a really complicated conversation there that I think is really insightful and moving. And what I love about this movie is that James Gray, he doesn't let himself off the hook. He doesn't let his family members off the hook. So there's no like kind of white savior narrative here, like the way Blindside is.
Right.
But the problem is that he also, like, you know, the young black child, he's not a very dimensional character, and in a way he's kind of used as a prop to process James Gray's white guilt. So that's the kind of the flaw there. But
I think I saw Anthony Hopkins in there, and
Anthony Hopkins, Anne Hathaway, Jeremy Strong from Succession.
A big cast. So who's this movie for then?
Look, this is for people who love like really well-made melodramas, like the classic ones, like All the Heavens Allows, as well as a movie that imitated that called Far From Heaven. Like, Gray is that kind of dramatist.
Wow, I haven't thought about that movie in a long time. All That Heaven Allows. Okay, let's talk about the parody, Weird Al Yankovic.
Yeah.
So I grew up listening to this guy. This is not a biopic, though, is it?
I mean, it's supposedly a biopic, but it's very on brand for Weird Al, because like, I'm not gonna make a real biopic. I'm gonna parody a biopic, right? So, I mean, it's supposedly Weird Al's life, where you got a brilliant Daniel Radcliffe, you know, bringing that energy, that Weird Al energy to the movie. He's very good. But the thing is, yeah, like it's a movie that spoofs biopics, where it takes all the kind of expected beats that you're so familiar with, all the tropes, and puts them into Weird Al's life. The inspirational story of a legendary artist, which is something that Weird Al never really was. Like, it wasn't very much of a... So that's the gag. I found it a little tiresome because I don't typically love Weird Al's humor, but if you are a fan of him, like, yeah.
So who's this movie for?
I mean, like, you know, Weird Al fans, but also, like, you love Naked Gun, you love Scary Movie.
I did love
the kind
Naked
of spoof
Gun.
This is. Well, there you go.
Did you not love Naked Gun?
I mean, I could take it or leave it.
Seriously?
It's like...
Oh my gosh, it's so good. Airplane? Did you like Airplane?
Yeah.
All right, just getting my bearings here. All right, next, mystery romance, Decision to Leave. What's this?
Okay, so Decision to Leave is it's kind of like a Hitchcockian thriller from one of Korea's best filmmakers, Park Chan-wook, guy who made Old Boy. Typically, his movies are really twisted and bloody and stuff. This one's much more romantic. It's about a detective who falls in love with the murder suspect, okay? And so...
Falls in love with the murder suspect.
With the suspect, yeah, a woman who possibly has murdered her husband. And so he goes down the rabbit hole there. Very stylish movie. See, yes, this Park Chan-wook is typically known for twisted, bloody murder mysteries, but in this movie, you're just swooning. This is possibly the sexiest movie of the year, and also easily one of the best.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I was swooning all over, yeah.
Okay, so who's this movie for then, Rad?
This is for people who love, like, Vertigo, or like even like Basic Instinct. If you love the twisted, sexy thrillers that I really do.
I do too.
Yeah, like this is your kind of movie.
A psychological thriller that we should mention is The Wonder.
Yes. So The Wonder is like actually Florence Pugh's second psychological thriller of the year. This is her better movie, because remember the other one is Don't Worry, Darling, and you remember the whole hubbub over that movie.
I do.
So she can be a little more proud of what she does here. Here she plays like a 19th century nurse who has to monitor a young girl who's been starving herself but somehow surviving. And you know, the religious community believes this child is some kind of miracle. Florence Pugh's character is there to basically legislate, is this a miracle or is this some kind of hustle? And you know, that's a great entry point into this. This movie finds a very human way into a conversation about how we legislate or value truth and yeah, like just like truth and what's real and faith and all that kind of stuff. And it's actually written by Canada's Emma Donoghue.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
and this movie is for whom then?
This is for people who love Jackie or Lady Macbeth, which is the movie that we actually discovered Florence Pugh in. If you love those, you're definitely down for this.
These are big titles this weekend.
Yes.
Thanks for coming in, Rad.
Thanks for having me.
Nice to see you. We'll see you next week.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.